Decision 2012 Candidate Forum, brought to you by the Lubbock League of Women Voters. Now, here's your moderator, Karen McKay.
Good evening, I'm Karen McKay, and KCBD is teaming up with the League of Women Voters to bring you a candidate forum so that you can be informed when you go to the polls in the upcoming elections. Remember, we have the city and school board election on May 12th, and the primary election is on May 29th. So that's why we're bringing you the candidates in all the races to answer questions from the League of Women Voters. But again, we are including one question that we've picked from your suggestions on our Facebook page. Thank you for those. Now, here are the rules tonight. Each candidate will be allowed to begin and finish with an opening and a closing statement. You know that. They have already flipped to see who gets to go first. Who flipped to go first? Ruby did, okay. So each candidate gets 2 minutes to answer each question, and we have a timekeeper here to keep them on track. So to be fair, we'll follow that closely, and we'll switch the order so each candidate gets a chance to answer first every other time. Our forum tonight goes back to the school board election with 2 candidates vying for the at-large seat. Melissa Collier is serving now as one of the 2 at-large trustees, and Ruby Tanner is challenging her for that position. So we're going to begin now. We'll begin with opening comments. And Ruby, since you picked first, you get to go first, your opening statements, and you have 2 minutes.
Yes, my name is Ruby Tanner, and I'm running, of course, for school board at large. And my experience, I started off teaching Sunday school for younger children, moving on to the adolescents. And I've also been, since 1972, church counselor for various churches. And my experience throughout the United States, from the West Coast, East Coast, down South, traveling as a church evangelist has given me a great bit of dealing with young people and students, as well as supporting my own daughters as they went through Texas Tech University and graduating. I did visit a lot, Texas Tech, making sure that everything was above and that should be. And not only that, other children, I have participated in their learning and tutoring at times, helping them.
All right, thank you, Ruby. Melissa, now you have, Melissa Collier has 2 minutes now for your opening statement.
Thank you, Karen. I want to first of all say thank you to the League of Women Voters, and thank you to KCBD for hosting this forum tonight and for the upcoming ones over the next 2 weeks. I think it's so important for our voters to become familiar with the candidates and with the issues before going to the polls. So thank you for this opportunity. My name is Melissa Collier, and I'm seeking re-election to the Lubbock ISD Board of Trustees as a member at large. I'm a native of Lubbock. I've lived here my whole life, and I'm married to my husband, Scott, who's also a native of Lubbock. We've been married just under 15 years. We have two children. We're proud parents of 2 LISD students. Our daughter's 3rd grader, and our son is a kindergartner. Scott and I are both proud graduates of Monterey High School as well as Texas Tech University. And I just want to say I'm blessed, and I'm so appreciative of the quality of life that I have been fortunate to experience here in Lubbock all these years. I feel that's one of the reasons that I'm running. I feel a responsibility to give back and to hopefully provide that same opportunity and quality of life for students across this district for many, many years to come. Having served in this position for 2 years now, I feel like I'm very familiar with the issues that are facing public education, with the challenges, with the opportunities that are there, and for the many successes that we've experienced in Lubbock ISD. I believe we've made some great strides over the past couple of years, but I still believe that there's work to be done and there's improvements to be made, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm seeking re-election. I feel a responsibility to our voters, to our taxpayers, to the students and their parents, and to certainly to our teachers across this great district. I feel like I bring a common sense. I feel like I bring a strong business sense, having been a CPA for over 13 years. And I think I bring a very valuable perspective as a mother of 2 young children. So again, that's why I'm here. It's been my privilege and honor to serve for the past 2 years, and I'm here tonight asking for your support and asking for your vote so that I can continue my service to LISD. Thank you.
All right, thank you both. And now we'll begin with the questions. And as I told you, the first question is actually from our KCBD News Channel 11 viewer online, submitted to our Facebook page. So this is their question, one that we've picked from those. How can we utilize school funding money more effectively to ensure academic excellence? And Melissa will begin with you on this one.
Say the question again, Karen.
Sure. The question is, how can we utilize school funding money more effectively to ensure academic excellence?
Well, you know, school funding is such a such a hot topic right now because we have experienced so many decreases in our funding. I think it's just incumbent upon us to analyze every expenditure, analyze every opportunity to use that money to serve kids appropriately. And it's no secret that we have experienced those decreases over the past couple of years. But I think that through some operational efficiencies that we have experienced as a result of some of our bond expenditures, I think that we are using those monies very wisely. Hopefully our funding will not be decreased anymore in the future, but if it is, I think that we just have to continue to analyze those expenditures very carefully and make sure that they are being put to use to benefit the students.
Right. Ruby?
I think that first of all, since we're already running on a shoestring budget, I think that we should really put out reports for each department, perhaps each teacher, letting them know what money is being used for. It's good to allocate money to different departments, but we just need to really tighten it up and let each department, like I said, let through the report what the money is being used for. Of course, when you begin to cut budget and so forth, it's difficult. But there again, that's not to say we were being not responsible before, but just keep a watch, a tight, and especially not waste anything. Let everything be written down through reports.
Okay, and since we said we'll switch who goes first each time, Ruby, you're going to go first on this next question. And the question is, how can we strengthen early childhood education in LISD?
Now, that's a good question. We should prepare our children for kindergarten. In the olden days, you would just send the kids to kindergarten, and you would say the teacher's going to take care of it. But now, they should come prepared already for kindergarten, because if they're not, most times they don't catch up, and they begin to work below grade level. So it's very vital, very important that we do that. And it's up to the child. Every child is different when to start with them, but have them so ready until they actually are ready for the first grade.
All right. Would you like the question read again, or do you have the question is, Melissa, is how can we strengthen early childhood education in LISD?
Well, I think our pre-K programs are so vital to the success of our students, to prepare them to hit the ground running in kindergarten. And I don't know how many of your viewers know this, but state funding does not actually fund full-day kindergarten. They fund half-day kindergarten. We have worked very diligently, and it's something I'm so committed to. I actually have two children that went through the LISD pre-K program, and both have just had wonderful experiences in doing that. So I'm such a proponent of keeping those pre-K programs strong. As you might or might not know, a couple of years ago we actually closed our early childhood centers, but we moved those pre-K programs into our neighborhood schools so that we could more effectively serve more and more students. In many cases, there were families having to put their precious 4-year-old children on a bus and send them all the way across town. And I don't know that I could have done that, quite honestly, to take my baby and send him all the way across town. But they had to do that in order to be served in those in those early childhood centers. Now we have those in almost all of our elementary schools, and I think those pre-K programs they're just stellar. The teachers that we have in those programs are outstanding, and I think that getting to those children and to those families at an early age, we have many of those students that are reading by the time they leave pre-K and entering kindergarten. So I can't say enough about the strength of those pre-K programs.
All right, Melissa Collier, you will go first this time.
Okay.
And the question is, how can the safety and security of students and teachers in the schools be increased?
Well, Karen, the safety and security, that was a very big part of the bond that was passed, thankfully to our voters back in November of 2010. Safety and security was a big piece of that. And we are almost complete with our implementation of our safety and security at this time. In fact, we're quite ahead of schedule. We anticipate being online by the time school starts in the fall. And I'm speaking as a parent right now. There's really nothing that supersedes the safety. Whenever you send your child off to school every day, you fully expect that they are going to be in a safe and a nurtured environment And you know, as much as we hate to think about it in this day and time, you cannot always be certain that that's the case. I think that we've got to put those safeguards in place. We've got controlled access points at all of our campuses now. We will have cameras that are able to capture things, so that keeps bad things from happening, hopefully. So I'm so thankful again to our voters for passing that bond and helping us to implement that safety and security program. I think that it's going to be so beneficial for all students across the district.
Ruby Tanner, the question, how can the safety and security of students and teachers in the schools be increased?
Well, you know the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. I feel like when it comes to school, it takes the whole village of school teachers to look up on every child. Not only should they just keep up with their own students in their own classes, but sort of look around and sort of know other students. So if you were to see something indifferent or a person that didn't fit, to question it and not just assume it's okay. Because we parents and grandparents, when we take them to school, we are putting them in another set of almost mother and father's hands. So I think it's very vital to keep an eye on everyone. And not only that, when classes are in, sometimes I've seen schools where they'll have a child to stay out in the hallways. Always at all times have another person there also, because anybody can just walk in. So there again, know the kids, know your surroundings, and at all times make sure all visitors have on their name tags, keep the procedure going. And let's just take that village of teachers to raise and to look out for our students.
All right, Ruby, you're up next. You start with this next question. The question is, what issues that affect LISD are of most concern to you, and how would you address those issues?
One of the main reasons I want to get involved, the low performers. We're always having low performers, children that are working below grade level, and also those that are on the borderline. And I'm concerned about that because the special aids basically are taken care of, the high performers taken care of, but that middle group there needs help. And we have a slogan that says, "No child left behind." There's hundreds and thousands being left behind. So we're going to have to really dig in. And I suggest that we enhance the tutor and interventionist program. And I think if we enhance it as much as possible with other teachers and let it be more intensified, and what I'm saying by that is to let the tutors and interventionalists, let them make out a weekly report on the student. And then not only that, perhaps once a month, test them. And we should just go so forth, because the problem is that's a very hard problem. Sometimes the students, they're not familiar with the material. Sometimes it's kind of difficult. There's all types of reasons. But if we work with them with the tutors, and if we work with them with interventionalists and really put forth, I believe we'll be able to lift that heavy burden. That's what I want to see. And then therefore they'll be more apt to pass the test, the STAR test that's out there that's so rigorous. And then not only that, I think it'll help on the dropouts. When they learn more, they'll be more interested in school.
All right. Melissa Collier, would you like the question again? Or
sure.
Okay. All right. What issues that affect LISD are of most concern to you, and how would you address those issues?
Okay, thank you, Karen. I would actually agree with Ms. Tanner. Student achievement. I think that student achievement has to continue to be a top priority. We have to get better, and I don't think that will ever change. I think that no matter what point we reach, I think we will always look to ways that we can improve. We do have, part of our mission in LISD is to serve every child every day, and I think that says so much, and I'm certainly committed to that. It doesn't matter what school you go to, what grade level you're at. We must serve every child every day, and I think that is just critical. A couple of other things that I don't necessarily know that I would phrase them as being concerning to me, but that are priorities to me, is just enhanced communication, and that's another thing. I don't know that we'll ever feel like we've gotten there, that we are as good as we can get. I think there's always room for improvement with communication. But in a district our size, in a community our size, getting that information disseminated to the appropriate parties, you know, parents or teachers appropriately, is always it's always a challenge. And I think that's one of the